So this is the Ken Landgraf book. Yeah. So when you read the introduction, you learn a lot that you didn't know about kind of like the stuff that Ken Landgraf put out. All right, let's look at the stuff here from Jakey Jake. Let's see what we're gonna work on. Um, this is a Hellclaw cover, a Hellclaw Fire Witch cover. So let's work on this for a second. I'm going to, yeah, let's try some of these. Pigma BB. I also have Pigma FB. This is fine. And MB. This is medium. And another MB. And I'm going to keep this one close by just to see. Um, oh, yeah, I also have this Chromita. I was digging how this was coming out, and then I wasn't digging how the letters came out. So I think I need to do something to the letters. I probably need to make them heavier. So that's something else. But before I get distracted. Now, this could be the inside front cover of Turbo #1. Inside back cover, I mean. So let's see if we can. All right, this is too thick. Put that one aside. That's the BB bold brush, and this is the MB. Let's see. It looks like a nice thick line, but I don't know how easy it is to control. Let's try it out here in this letter. I'm just going without a net here. No pencil sketch. No idea what I'm doing. Just trying to do chrome technique. Because it needs to be heavier. And it's a good brush. But do I want to use it for this? Um, maybe I do, yeah. What else am I going to use for this? This is a little bit undefined, but let's take it from here. And this is kind of like a demon apparition. And in the future, when Hellclaw is around, right? Again, this is not a This is not a superhero comic. Hellclaw is science fiction, and her powers are more scientifically explained than the typical superhero comic because she's she's kind of like got a special DNA type. I know. A lot of different comic series say the same thing. It's a mutant. They were born with special DNA, but we explain it like the reason why this is in the Turbo world is because um, I wanted to do I wanted to do a superhero team comic ish, post superhero, let's say, um, all girl, um, patterned on like the Defenders or something like that from the late '70s, um, or maybe even the mid '70s. But I couldn't really figure out how to squeeze it in. But I want to have some superhero title prominently among the offerings because Turbo Pit Fighter is more like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, like Road Warrior, obviously. But um, I think for DoomMags, it's incomplete to not have a superhero title. So I kind of just wrote it in where it's like Esoterra, Hellclaw, and Cremita are just, unique, whatever, paranormal, uh, capable people, and just leave it at that. And, not apologizing. I'm saying, you know, it's if any superhero anywhere is not plausible, then neither am I. But there's the nostalgia for me about, um, you know, the old comics, and you could talk about the X-Men, the Avengers, or the Defenders. Um, but I always liked the Defenders because they were kind of offbeat. I think they were written by Steve Gerber at some point, and so that's why they might have been a little bit offbeat. Um, and the Defenders was also, I mean, it was weird. You had the Avengers, and that was Thor, the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, right? Everybody, and like only the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then later the Scarlet Witch and the Vision. Only they were like B characters. Everybody else was an A-list character, right? So then they come out with the Defenders, and it's like it started out, it was like the Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Submariner for some reason. Uh, that and if that seems like a weird pairing, yeah, it probably was. And it didn't last. So then they start introducing very, very soon they started introducing Valkyrie, you know, and that was weird because she was a B character, and she only appeared in the Defenders, but she was a female, and she was supposed to be like a strong female. I guess it was Marvel's try at like, you know, early women's lib interpreted by all males at the comic company. But they added Nighthawk later on. Another B character, started out as a bad guy, um, and then ended up a mainstay in the Defenders. So it was a really weird collection of characters. Now the X-Men, blew up and went bonkers and everything. But in the mid 70s, it was a team. It was like the original X-Men. It was like a team of individual characters that nobody had their own series or anything. You know, wouldn't be till much later when pretty much everybody got like a solo miniseries or whatever. But then Wolverine was in a category all by his own. Um, he transcended just the X-Men, although he was also a mainstay. Um, but yeah, the Defenders was always different. So what I'm trying to do is make three characters: Hellclaw, Esoterra, Hellclaw, and Cremita. And this will be right here the cover for Hellclaw #1, a solo adventure. But they've already appeared in the Casualties #1, which I have over there on the counter. Um, so yeah, another thing is I just got this random piece of paper, and I'm just using it like border to border, which might be a mistake because, yeah, no, it's a little smaller than the regular size, because I discovered that you could make all your artwork on a piece of paper that fits on the scanner all in one shot, or you could make it too big and then have to tile it. But, if you're only like an inch away, then for God's sakes, just make it a tiny little bit smaller and scan it all in one shot. I'm just kind of following the pencil lines that were here without thinking too much. Because I want to get like some ink on the page, and then I'll sort it out later. So it's that thing where you're like, is it better to ask for permission or ask for forgiveness? Here, I think I want to, yeah, I think I want to add like some more like fiery flames or something. So I am going to go to a blue line pencil real quick. But actually, let me take this opportunity to switch off this page. Let's bop around, make this a little interesting. Um, and yeah, I'm going to go in and just put in some black and make this a lot more substantial. As I look at this, I see it just needs a lot more ink. And is it good markings I'm making right now? Um, we'll have to work with it. Otherwise, we got to go to the whiteout, the the the, the drawer of shame is the whiteout drawer. Um, and this is a cover for Chromita. And Chromita would be an interesting number one too. So what I'm doing is with these characters, I call it the end of the world timeline, but it's not really post-apocalyptic yet. It's just dystopian. It's like superheroes. It's like, they look like superheroes, but they're really like just human anomalies. And there's a lot of people taking enhancements and supplements to get really like steroided up and muscly. And those products are being sold on the open market, legally and illegally. But it doesn't give and you can get big and muscly and everything, but Esoterra has the ability to move things. Like she can change like air pressures and stuff, and she can make herself levitate. But I am going to have a little twist to it. Instead of just doing that and it just happens like magic, um, like every time she does it, it comes at a big cost to the surroundings around her. In other words, the power that she's taking comes from somewhere. And so if she's in a room, you know, like it'll devastate the room, like it'll blow out all the computers, and it'll maybe like you know move things around, like like there was a dust storm, let's say. um yeah, uh so that's going to be just a short explanation. Now Carmina is just a robot, but she's not just like a robot that got built by somebody. She's a robot that built herself, and that left everybody guessing who built her. And even Esoterra doesn't know who built her, and she was a gift to Esoterra from the person that programmed her. She built herself, and like all the parts just come together. come together. Oh yeah, I have a guitar here, so I was going to play the guitar for a second too, and just get that on record. I want to see what it sounds like on. It sounds like back on Substack, so just a little sound check. Sometimes the quality is really glitchy, like it jumpy, and I think it's because there's like an AI feature that edits portions, and it's good if it takes out like blank spots. I mean, what what value there would be to a program that takes out all people's um 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 right? If AI or a computer program was actually able to say, okay, that's just an we're going to take that out, we're going to edit it. It saves energy, because it makes the files smaller, and it makes it more coherent for the short attention span audience. All right, I made a little progress on the lettering of Chromita, and I'm going to leave it here for now, I guess. I also want to try and watch a basketball game, so I'm not going to be on here for too long, but I did connect the power, so it doesn't go out in the middle. Yeah, this is getting there. I'm just kind of like connecting all these pieces. I could also go flip the record there. I'm not being a very good host for this live stream, I don't think. All right, and I am jumping around a lot. Just every time I see like a blank spot, I just want to put something in there, for better or worse. All right, I'll just do one more area here. And remember, this is color now, so I'm like committed to color. And I might as well maybe think about some other colors or whatever. All right, what do we got? Charvel and the Cleaver. So this page, I guess, is kind of done, unless we say it's not. Unless we get OCD and we start putting some other marks in, just here and there, hither and thither. Nothing wholesale, but she's kind of green, so let's go over some of the green with some black. Just a little bit, right? So the darkest part is black, not green. Although I like the green, but I want to see how this reproduces. How this what this original would look like if it reproduces. All right, next, Hawkwind. So I might ink Hawkwind right here, right now. This is a cover for, or a pinup for a character, Hawkwind. I've been talking about. I did all of this pencil work, born 2026, in a test tube to her father, Dr. Bruno Moroder! Exclamation point. I need an exclamation point there. Make it campy. Unparalleled intellect, weighing heavy on her soul, trapped in a tower with younger sisters. And I haven't written anything here. Um, should I start inking this? Well, let's see. This says cursing her creation. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, there's some notes on the back. So this is also MB. Oh yeah. Where's the fine FB right here? Ooh, this might be what I really, really want. Yeah, this is what I really, really want. Okay. Oh, the hand isn't really finished, but let's start inking anyway. Um, I'll try to keep this on camera. I wonder how long this pen will last. Oh no, I could have also just given this to Kurt to ink. I don't know if he wants to ink something like this. This wouldn't be anything soon because we would use for the inside cover of Turbo Pit Fighter #1. We would. I mean, I'm just inking it now, so I guess I made the decision. Again, it's this paper, and I don't know if this is the biggest size, but I'm probably doing myself no favors um, by just doing the artwork all the way to the edge every time. Let me see. This paper is the exact same size as this paper, and I went all the way to the edge, so I'm already doing this to the edge on all these other ones anyway. Um, so she's got some interesting hair. It comes down like this, and here's my formula for hair that I teach. It's pointy zigzags, WWW or MMM. Make it real pointy like Charles Burns, and directional. And then you can go back over it and say, all right, I want it to be really, really um, heavier, like in the middle of these bands, but they have to have the light gaps. So I get my students in trouble. Another thing, should I go to the edge or should I leave a gap there? So sometimes I try it first both ways and then I close it out. There's no turning back. Here's the scalp, and a lot of hair emanates from the scalp. So gotta go dark here. Yeah, that the face is a very critical thing. Makes or breaks the whole drawing, right? Because faces are expressive, and faces are how we bond, with characters. If they have a relatable face, or an attractive face, or realistic face. Now she has this kind of bent hair. Her hair bends forward, kind of defying gravity. But Hawkwind, I have great plans for, but they don't last long because she's a character that's like I just have like a one and done adventure for her. And I think I went over it before, but basically, she's born in a test tube. Her father's Dr. Marauder, but she has volcano eye, which means if you have volcano eye, then they know you can't help but have a decent moral compass, and it was a way to be able to trust people. It's a trait that popped up. I don't really explain when, but we should do that. We should explain when it pops up because it's a way that people know somebody's trustworthy if they have the volcano eye. So what does the volcano eye look like? If you look in somebody's eye, it looks like there are pieces moving around. And they're, the person that coined the phrase likened it to an erupting volcano where there's pieces coming out. Look, this brush is breaking up already because I was trying to get a little too fat with it. The pieces are breaking up from the center, kind of like a fountain, right? But the nickname Volcano Eye stuck. I mean, you could argue that the volcano is like a fountain. It is spewing forth. But yeah, if you look in Volcano Eye, so now Volcano Eye is also a double-edged sword because it means that anybody with the trait cannot trick somebody because they could always look closely and see the volcano eye. But, you could use a false contact lens or something to pretty easily cover it. So I guess if you're going deep cover, you get some James Bond contact lenses which cover up your volcano eye. Anyway, if Hawkwind looks like she's supposed to be tall, it's because she's supposed to be 7'11" and 7'11". And that reminds me, like, I think I'm just gonna leave this a little bit crusty here, a little unfinished, because I might want to try. I don't know, like this fits really nicely, and I'm gonna say some other stuff here. Let me. I don't know why I just started doing the face. Maybe I wanted to get it over with. The high pressure. It's like the last minute shot in a basketball game. If you hit it, you win the game. But if you screw it up, you lose. And it all comes down to the wire. So Hawkwind only lives to the age of 17, so I'm trying to draw her youthful here, but she's really, really tall. And she has this thing around her neck. And it kind of looks like the Black Widow's thing. Alright, I'm going to get up and flip the record in a second. She has an H on her uniform because she's Hawkwind. And the H is really long, goes down to the bottom of her feet. Sometimes you want to define these lines just with color, but sometimes you give it a black outline. This might never be colored, right? So here she has her built-in footwear design. I haven't put any shading in yet. I'm just trying to get all these pencil lines in first. See, if I start doing the shading now, I got to do the whole thing shading. So I shouldn't have done that. A lot more to go on this. I'm not going to finish it right here, right now, but I'm glad I'm flipping through these and getting some progress. Here, there's also like this little cutout here on her uniform, some kind of compartment. And then this is also, oh, this is just like a seam here. That's why the good artists on Black Widow draw her. I like this little marker brush marker. The people that draw Black Widow really well um, catch those little seams, and they make her leather catsuit come alive. It really was a hot design when Marvel did that. Um, Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, and her new black and white catsuit, which debuted in like I want to say 1969 or 1970, and it caught the eye of David Bowie's then wife Angie Bowie, who requested a meeting with Stan Lee, according to a book I'm reading, and on a cocktail napkin for $1, Stan Lee granted Angie Bowie the rights to option or explore a movie, Daredevil and the Black Widow, and she would play the Black Widow. So she was really into dressing up and cosplay and everything. And obviously, no such movie ever came out, but there was a photo shoot. Angie Bowie got together, and you can see it if you just Google it. Angie Bowie, Black Widow, Daredevil. Some guy was in the Daredevil suit. It was cool. It was just like some black and white photo, and and I think the way that chapter ends is like, um, no movie studio was interested because um, it was impossible to do the special effects where Daredevil is like swinging in buildings with a billy club or something, and fight scenes, and it it just wouldn't have been great probably in 1969, 1970. It could have been good in a bad way, or it could have been bad in a good way. But that's as far as I got. Anyway, yeah, the Black Widow suit. Um, Historians also credit it to Miss Fury. This is Black Widow. Whoever the artist was, I think it was John Romita. Might have been the guy drawing Daredevil if he was doing insides right about that time. But I know Don Heck was the original artist that did the Black Widow when she had her veil, her like crosshatch, veil. It was like a funeral veil, like she was a widow, like a weeping widow. But she was like a Russian spy character, and I think yeah, she appeared in Avengers, like in the 40s or 50s numbers. The Avengers, I believe. Um, all right, I'm screwing this up by putting in the shading. So now I have to put all the shading in. I have to go all the way down. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm leaving this kind of space away from the edge line. But now I'm going to come in and fill that in, actually, with a lighter line, lighter touch. I'm trying to make it uniform. But the brush is getting a little bit less easy to control. Yeah, so I don't know if my pencil lines were the greatest here for where to put the shading, but I wanted to definitely make this the darker part and the H lighter. Now, I don't know what colors to make Hawkwind's unitard. So, any suggestions? Put them in the chat. I'll see it, right? I'll get notified. Somebody commented on your chat, on your video. Um, what colors would be good? I don't know. I was looking at some new WNBA teams. They have some interesting color schemes now in the league that you don't see in too many sports. Like one is the Valkyries, the Golden State Valkyries. Cool name for the team, right? So they have like a purple, a lilac, not lilac, but yeah, like a purple color scheme. And then the Toronto Tempo, which is also a new team this year, have like a burgundy or sometimes a dark purple, very dark purple, with a light blue, which is cool, I think. Maybe I'll do that with her, a dark purple and light blue. So, right down the back. Dark, dark, can I spell? Uniform? Alright, note to self. So now I'm just like going around, I'm filling in, I'm trying to make some marks here. I'm going to switch from the brush at some point, maybe not right now, to the high-tech C pens, which are basically like modern day rapidograph pens. I didn't want to make her boobs that big. I can't help it. Sometimes these things just draw themselves. And yeah, so the high-tech C is going to go over and really just cover a lot of ground. I wonder how this might have looked like if Kurt did it. But I don't think Kurt is into the superhero stuff. I think he's into sword and sorcery and the sci-fi with Turbo. He did some inking for Alex Turbin, and I think he really just does the Crom. He's got his hands full. All right, let's call that a day. I did enough on that one. Let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. Here's another esoteric clip. So is this one ready? Oh, I needed to do DoomMags, and I was gonna do this alternate logo here that says DoomMags Predictive Fiction. Is that a thing? So I'm drawing the little demon logo here with limited fingers this time. I don't know if I usually give him 4 fingers, but he's only got 3. And now I'm using my Kuretake brush. These things I love more than life itself, but they can blob on you if you're not careful. And I think it might have something to do with like how long you keep it exposed in the air, if that makes sense. Yeah, see right now it's starting to blob on me. So I gotta be careful because it can really get out of hand. If you're not careful. Um, yeah, let's write predictive fiction. I'm running out of room. So that means predictive fiction means I think that there will be in real life a reality cleaver weapon, this thing, which blurs reality and then keeps it blurred. Um, this is definitely going to say Charvel here, so some of the other names might be changing. Window, Pitch Blank, Quadrant, and Chevron. But let's definitely do the Charvel part of it. And I'm trying to make a decorative font as I go here, but it might look unprofessional if I don't think everything out here. It looks like I have enough room, but it's getting trapped. Once you ink it, that's a whole new thing. Those pencil lines don't mean anything. Uh, uh, Alright, I'll leave that like that. And if I have, yes I do, I have the high Texie right here. And this is a 0.4, which is the thicker one. I don't know if we've ever had our hands on 0.5s, but I think we get 0.4s and 0.3s. It's a very, very fine line. And I'm putting in some like little wispy lines here. This will say Esoterra. And then here I want to do this DoomMags before I close this out. So I got a much more sensitive point here. I never flipped the record and I didn't play guitar yet. Alright, I'm getting there. DoomMags. And we'll just shade this little devil here so that he looks like he's mostly in the dark. And there's this little black cap there. Alright. The theory works. It's opening a pocket in the nanoverse. Esoterica's cleaver, designed in exile. So that's not esoteric. That's esoteric. And how do we convey that? And why does her hair look like it's old person's hair? Let's put some darker lines in here. She's got dark hair. So tomorrow we have the pod at 10 o'clock Eastern on YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern. Going live, me and Kurt. Um, I'm going to be finishing up a turbo page, the bottom panels of a page that I didn't do last week. So my pace, at least for blue line pencil, had been like a page every Sunday. And last Sunday I fell behind because I was doing other things on camera. Here's another explainer sheet for Hawkwind. I don't know if I'm going to end up using this for anything. This is some band designs. I'm supposed to be like filling this in for a band, but I'm not in any rush to do it because it's kind of boring. The band is cool though. This is my friend Dank's band. Fuck it. This is another design I did for them. None of these are the final design they used on their t-shirts. All right, here's Charvel and the Reality Cleaver again. So what are we doing with all these pinups? Well, we're working towards something. This is a lot of writing in pencil. I don't know if I want to go over that or not. This is a really nice piece of paper. Should I sketch something out? Any inspiration? Here's the Marauders. I showed this a couple of times. These are your bad guys. And I was even thinking of giving them their own sequence in a issue of Doom magazine. Although he wouldn't appear until page like 6, Dr. Bruno. And here's the premise: he'll divert a prisoner into his own private prison because he wants to dissect her literally and study her brain because she had postpartum disease and she drowned her children in a bathtub, and she gets sentenced to whatever life, and or she gets a plea deal if she pleads, she'll get life, but she'll get to spend it in this special experimental prison hospital that's run by the Marauders, and that's how he'll get to experiment on this sick lady, and his experimentation is trying to isolate the familial gene that was something off with her, and she killed her own kids. So he wanted to study what was disconnected in her brain physiology, brain chemistry, or whatever. And then when he isolates the familial gene and he sees how it was turned off in this lady, like we all have that familial gene where we have like extra attachment and like protection instinct for like our children or our mother, father, whatever, but not in other people, right? So what is that gene trait? And in the future, when scientists are messing around with quantum code of DNA traits, there will that's what Dr. Marauder will be good at for his evil purposes, but But anyway, you know, he's one of the researchers that cracked the code. Um, yeah, so that comes to mind. This is just stuff. We have some pencils for turbo here. Kind of incomplete. Should we try to like put more of her body in here? Like, what would her arm look like? Would it look like this? With these like muscles here? And and the rest of her body. Yep, that's enough for that. This doesn't really look like Turbo on the face, to me. There's Pitch Blend. I was working on these letters. Should we work on these letters? It looks like they need to be moved over. The whole thing needs to be moved over. Don't you agree? So, that's what needs to happen. We need to take a big eraser to this and move the whole thing down. We're going to try and get... I don't see the eraser. Yeah, everything's falling on the floor. Here we go. Everything's going to move down. So, I'll just leave this image ghosted here. And this way I can see what was there and not only move it, but hopefully improve upon it. Pitch blend. Take away the black line pencil here. Alright. How did I have these letters now? They were a little stylized. But I had to keep them skinny because it's a long word and not a lot of space. I picked the name Pitch Blend because there was a obscure 1960s garage rock band called Pitch Blend, and they spelled it a little differently, and they only put out like I think one single, but it had the coolest cover art, and it said Pitch Blend in like a cloud, like maybe like a mushroom cloud, or like psychedelic letters in a mushroom cloud, with the faces of the musicians. Pitch Blend. I'm moving this whole thing down. Not spending too much space on it. I just need an NDE now. But the letters are getting bigger. So, gotta make space here. And then this D, I had this whole idea here where it was gonna be like that and come over the top. And then the E would just come off of it like this, like a sigma. Right, so I'm using the E so that it's spelled, I think that's how the band spelled it. And Pitch Blend, I think in real life is a radioactive. Okay, Google, what is Pitch Blend? Sorry, I don't understand. You're useless. All right, good. I'm glad I did that. Next. And some of this old stuff I just keep dredging up. This is a nice face of Asatera. Charvel meets Window. Window will be really tall. Why does that look like Charvel? Oh, Charvel is really tall. Right, Charvel is 6'8". And then so this will be Window. And what'll be special about her? I don't know. She looks like she's kind of muscly. Alright, all this other stuff. Let's move on. Let's do something else. Okay, we got the Ken Landgraf here. We did some stuff. We made some progress. We didn't finish anything. We made like a little bit of progress on each thing. Alright. So I read up to here only, and this is a very bizarre story. I said I was gonna put the other side on. Alright. Um so this is the bibliography or the discography, the comicography. He did this is it, the whole thing. It's New York City Outlaws number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus all the ads that were in there too. Then there's this Astro Man, Dr. Peculiar. That was the stuff that he said was like Christian, I think. And and then Ken Landgraf in conversation. So there's probably some back matter pages, and then a cover gallery. So it explains, Ken Landgraf, not too much about his whole like life story, but just this is mostly like about um, how Jim Rugg discovered him and um, all the stuff that he did. This looks like a very dark reproduction of maybe a color cover, but this was the cover to New York City Outlaws number 1. And they explained that they had this little text producing machine. There's like a label maker, and some of this other text was really like dated from like the 80s. This might have been like printed, or it might have been like a press on type. Look, you can see the O. It's a little different from all the other letters, so maybe that 3D was added. Sounds like this was like an outline letter. Oh look, that O might even be short. This is so weird to look at. Oh man, that's great. Yeah, some of these letters go up and down, so this might have been press-on letters that weren't done exactly straight, and then they add the 3D. So this is an ad on the left here. There's an ad for a guitar shop on 48th Street. So this was, I think, on the same block that had uh, the famous music store. Like it was like Sam Ash, I think it was, and then there was one right across the street, and like literally all the big stars would get their guitars there, like Jimi Hendrix on that block. But yeah, so this was in the 80s. They were still around. And then this just introduces all the characters. There's 5 different characters: Titan, Whammo, Polymixin, Zebra, and Thunderclap Jones. Oh, and Isaac. So there's 6 characters. And then you get to this page, and it's a splash of all 6 characters, but there's 7 here. So now I'm already confused. Then you see this sequence where there's like these kids are being like threatened by this gang of drug dealers, and then they're running, and the dialogue and the narration is really just bizarre. It's kind of like poetic, maybe you want to say, but And like, the action, the mob counts a big 15 seconds. They would have counted longer, but no one had a watch. What? The, I also have a feeling that they worked on a script and Ken did the art, and then you get back the art, and then maybe you just kind of like make it the coolest story that goes with the art, you know? And so they get the attention of this guy doing kung fu on the roof, and they find out that the little brother here was shot right in the head by the mob. And this is an example of like the language. The writing here was written by. Give you his name in a second. Huzar, last name Huzar, and Bob Huzar. I think that's how you pronounce it. Huszar. So Peter De Niro made the last corner just 3 steps ahead of his brother, but those 3 steps he'll run again. Every night he closes his eyes. Right? So this is like very melodramatic. So this is where I'm up to, and I'm gonna be reading the rest. So they also have number 2, number 3. It goes on from there. Antics ensue, cover gallery, all the other stuff. So that's it. That's all I got. I don't think you guys want to hear me play guitar, but I just want to see how it sounds, and I'll put some artwork on the floor to look at. I don't have a pick here. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Chromita. This song is about to end. I don't know if you could even hear it. All right, let's see what it sounds. This not really in tune, but so this is my new one. Kind of atmospheric. And then there's this part where I go. Working out this new song. So good with it. Something like that. And then this other one I've been writing, it goes like this. It goes. That's all I got so far. All right, just wanted to see what that sounds like. All right, everybody. Good night. Talk to you later.